All right, good morning, guys. Today is Tuesday, June 6th. First day back on from vacation for me. Yesterday we did have an amazing trade that I sent out in the Discord yesterday. So I did say I was buying. Was I buying or was I selling? I was selling US 30 yesterday. So this is the trade, and it literally went to TP with barely any drawdown. The reason I entered this trade, I was waiting for a sell on US 30 on Friday, but due to manipulation, price kept coming up, going up. And then, so if I go back, so right now, these are the only trades I'm in. Again, we need to wait for the market to stabilize. I'm in 3 sells for US 30 based off of the crosses indicator that we have. I'll go over the settings for those today. What else? What else? What else? You can also see using the breakout scanner, we do have a sell down here. So anyway, I'll just go over the trade for yesterday. So this is where I entered the sell somewhere, I think this candle. So there was a death cross coming in on the 5-minute. Also, when you turned on the, what are they called? The markups and the zones, we were in heavy sell zones yesterday around this zone. So we did not have any bullish zones per se yesterday. So I had like 5 confluences lining up for me to take that sell on US 30. So and that sell went straight into TP, and you can see, right, we're starting as much as we didn't trade last week when I was on vacation. First day back, we had a 1% trade. So I'm going to be finding some of these 1% trades and sending them out. So even this EU buy that I'm in right now, I sent it this morning with a 1% risk. So also this is a 1% risk. So I'm, it's all about trusting your strategy and back testing. But I'll be sending a couple of 1% trades going forward. Okay, so for today, what do we have? This is what we have on US 30. We have a weekly low down here. We do have a 15-minute bullish low, bullish high. We also have this daily bearish high and daily bullish high. So you can see yesterday, the trade hit TP somewhere around here, and then it came back up around the between the daily bullish high and the daily bearish high, which is right here. So I think here they're trying to trap buyers that were trying to catch the buy using the daily bullish high, but you can see price came back down, went back up, retested exactly the daily bearish high that's up here, and then price has just been descending. Technically, if you look at US 30 where it is right now, like on the 5-minute, you can imagine that maybe it can swing back up because there's been some sort of consolidation. But for me, right, when I looked at that and when I looked at the crosses indicator, which is right here. So one thing I've noticed for the crosses indicator, it's best to use it on the 15-minute time frame for best results. Yesterday I did, when I sent in the sell yesterday, I also did use it on the 5-minute time frame because I did automatically see a death cross. So remember, for me, I don't need to use a crosses indicator to tell me where the death cross or whatever is, because this indicator is based off of my logic. But yesterday I did also use it to enter, here they are actually, right? We did have some cells here. So I did use it to enter, this was the original cell, and this was another cell. If you go on the 5-minute, these two right here, so right here, if I go on the 5-minute, you'll see that there was a cell here, and then there was this cell right here. So I used it also to confirm that the cell that I was in was more probable. But for this indicator, right, I did share it with you guys who have access to the indicators. It's best to use it on the 15-minute time frame. If you want to use it on the 5-minute, that's fine. But based on my back testing, 15-minute is better. Also, it's good to use it on fast moving instruments such as indices, commodities, and crypto. So US 30, Bitcoin, and gold. And the reason for this is because after crosses happen, you normally have a burst in liquidity. So the instruments that will give you that burst in liquidity are mostly the those sets of instruments, right? The indices, commodities, and crypto. For stocks, I'm sorry, for forex pairs, I really, right, I'm not interested in trading as much as they might be valid. You might be stuck in crosses for forex pairs longer because forex pairs move slower than than indices, commodities, and crypto. Also, right, golden cross. Golden cross is when a slow moving EMA, so it doesn't have to be the 9 EMA. For me, I just prefer using the 9 EMA. Golden cross is when a slow moving EMA crosses a fast moving EMA, I'm sorry, fast moving EMA like the 9 EMA crosses a slow moving EMA to the upside. So for example, this was a golden cross right here. So this is when the 9 EMA, which is our fast moving EMA, crossed the 200 EMA to the upside. Now, death cross is the opposite of that. So right here, since that move, which was last week before NFP, and right now I turned off the buys. So in this indicator, you can turn off what signals you want and which ones you don't want. So this right here before NFP, this I think was on Thursday or a few hours before NFP, you had this buy that I entered actually this buy right here. And then you had this buy, you had this buy, and then during NFP, have that buy, right? Again, during NFP, I've gone over how to trade heavy news patterns a lot, right? So I normally tell you guys during NFP and not really CPI, NFP and FOMC minutes that have the conference, so the 2 p.m. and the 2:30 p.m., what you need to do, you want to wait for the first 5-minute news candle. So don't try to catch a move before. You wait for the first 5-minute news candle. And then what am I looking for this? So for example, during NFP, the first 5-minute news candle, oh, I'm sorry, this is 15-minute. Give me 1 second. So let me just go over that just for 1 sec. But if you guys want to enter those buys on, here it is, those, I'm sorry, those sells on US 30, feel free to do so. So this was the NFP candle. Wait for the first 5 minutes. So whether it's bullish or whether it's bearish. So if it's bullish, expect a retracement. Expect the next candle to retrace slightly. The importance of the next candle, they normally try to catch people that are trying to catch that reversal. So for me, what I do, I normally just wait, whether it's a bullish, whether it's a bearish, and then you can catch, right, like a quick 10 pips or so, and then just get out. You don't want to go for like a 50 pip move or a heavier move using the second candle. If you really want to wait for the third candle. So if you get this move playing out, a bullish candle, and then you have a bearish candle that's retracing slightly, at that point, enter into that buy, right? This happens more times than 90% of the time. This will happen during NFP and during FOMC. Now, there's those times that this pattern won't play out. Again, I haven't had a lot of success trading this pattern for CPI, but during NFP and FOMC, this is a pattern that I've seen that has like a 90% win rate. Again, the reverse is true. If this candle was bearish, if the first 5-minute candle was bearish, you normally expect the next 5-minute candle to be bullish to trap people that are thinking price is going to reverse. And then guess what? So worst case, if you're not sure, wait for the first 5-minute candle to go by, then wait for the next 5-minute candle to close. Once you get these patterns playing out, so for example, if this was a bearish and then you had a bullish slight retracement, at this point, go ahead and enter into a sell. And then at that point, right, you can keep riding that sell. So you can see for here, you could have easily rode this by. So whether you're using the crosses indicator or you're just using my news trading news strategy, right, this is a heavy move you could have ridden. So, and I've gone over that pattern time and time again. So let's see, let's go back here. Okay. Now, so I went over what a golden cross is, what a death cross is. The other thing for this indicator, so the first cross, so for example, the first cross is the original cross. So this was the first golden cross. Another logic I've built into this indicator, it can also give you re-entries, right? So what you want, and based on backtesting, you want to trade the first 3 to 4 trades, including the original cross. So what do I mean by that? If you have a death cross, or let's say this is a golden cross right here. So if you had this golden cross, you could have entered a buy here. And for these positions, I would say use 100 pip TP, 100 pip stop loss for US 30, use 50 for gold, and for Bitcoin, use whatever, what is it, like a $500 move. Again, I don't recommend using, unless you guys backtest it, I don't trade crosses on FX pairs unless, you know, I'm just on the charts and I can see them. So here, this buy right here, you could have caught this buy. You do this, you go for 100 pips, 100 pips right there. Then do the next one. This was a buy right here. So this is what I mean by trading the first 3 entries, including the original golden or death cross. And you see all of them would have hit full TP, no drawdown ideally, right? So I really don't recommend pushing it to the fourth one, but if you want to keep trading and trading them up, you can do that. The only time I would say be wary of, say, the buys, like for me at this point, I would have been satisfied with this buy. Taking maybe this one right here and maybe one up here. Now, once you start seeing this reversal to the downside, you don't want to catch a buy, right? For example, here, you shouldn't have caught this buy right here. When the structure starts breaking down, there's no need for you to keep chasing this buys and this buys and this buys right here. So this is why I put in the instructions here. You want to catch the first 3 to 4 trades, including the original cross. So, right, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is, again, with this indicator, to be honest, I think you guys should be able to pass challenges quicker. So let's, for example, let's analyze this sell right here, right? So you had this sell. I'm looking for a sell that could have hit stop loss. So this could have hit TP. There's something I want to show you guys. So this sell also, this could have hit TP as well. Sell right here. Or could have gotten stopped out. This might be one of those you could have gotten stopped out and the thing went, nope, straight to TP. This would have hit TP as well. This sell right here, this sell right here. So yeah, I'm gonna say just be satisfied with the first 3 or 4, but you can see here, if you wanted to catch this sell, full TP as well. The thing is, right, you want to be considerate after a cross happens. If you see the EMAs coming back together, like, you want to be wary of those areas. Now, I've built in, same as with my other indicators, I've built in like a squeeze filter, right? So I have like ADX filter, squeeze filter, super trend, moving average, SAR bands. Now, for me, the filter that I like using most is the squeeze filter, because what the squeeze filter will do, it will take off the signals where price is squeezing or where price is consolidating at. So for example, right here, I just selected to show the squeeze area, and you can change this area in these settings right here, right? So you can change, like, for example, the Bollinger length to, or the standard deviation to, say, 4, and you'll see they'll expand or minimize. If I do it to 1, it will probably spread out, right? So here, I would say just leave it as default as 2, and then look at what's going to happen at this sell signals right here when I turn on the squeeze filter. Those sell signals will disappear, right? So even for this one, so this one would have been full TP for that, full TP also for that, full TP also for, no, this one would have hit stop loss. Yeah, this one would have hit stop loss. But then the beauty of this thing, you don't have to do the squeeze filter. The other beauty of it is, as much as, say, this buy could have, yeah, this is perfect. I was looking for a trade that would have hit stop loss. So I want to show you guys something. See how this buy hit stop loss right here? So if you have a trade copier, like a Telegram copier, and I don't know if Henry is here. So this one would have hit stop loss, right? But then this sell would have hit TP and got your profit back. So you really don't have to use the squeeze filter if you don't want, but you can trade back to back. So for this one, for this strategy, I would say, if you set a TP and stop loss, if a trade hits TP, let it hit TP. If it hits stop loss, let it hit stop loss. Because you can see, like, this buy right here hit stop loss, but then immediately after that, there was a sell that could have given you back or been back at break even. But also, right, this is another importance of just stick with the first 3 or 4, right? So this buy right here, this would have been TP. I think this was a news candle, right? Full TP on that buy, full TP on this buy as well, full TP. Let's see, maybe this one could have hit stop loss. So that's 1, 2, 3, right? So this could have hit loss, right? Stop loss. So again, no need to do break even or whatnot, right? So you are already up. So this hit full TP, this hit full TP. So you're already up 2 positions. The third position hit stop loss, right? So you say, I'm sticking with the first 3. So at this point, you could have been like, okay, let's say you don't want to use the squeeze filter. You say, okay, the next trade I'm taking will be a sell. So you take a loss right here. So right now you're up this one position, right? So you wait for your sell. So when the sell comes, and hopefully I'm not muted, when the sell came right here, you entered that position, you did your 100 pips TP, 100 pips stop loss, or whatever it is you want to do, right? Then guess what? You're up 2 positions again. Okay, that's your first position. Enter into this cell, full TP, enter into this cell, full TP. You've already made up for, right? You've already recouped your loss up there, and you're up 3 positions, actually maybe 4 positions. And maybe if you want to recoup one more, let's say you could have won that one, you maybe go for your 4th entry right there and full TP. So this strategy, and I'm trying to set it up to copy the trades, but you can easily pass. I think other than the breakout scanner, this right here might be one of the best systems that I've built. Does anybody have any questions regarding what I've gone over? And if you guys want, you can take a screenshot of this instructions. Eventually I'll make videos for all of this, but for now I'll just be typing this stuff in and leaving it on the chart so that I don't have to keep repeating myself. So better to use it on 15-minute time frame, use it on fast moving instruments, US 30, NAS, gold, crypto, golden cross, also like inside the indicator as well, right? Here's where you put your fast moving EMA. So for us, we use the 9 EMA here. Slow moving EMA, for us, we use the 200 EMA. Don't really worry about the swing length or whatnot. Just leave everything as default. You can change the colors if you want. For the filters, ADX ideally takes off the signals. So if you apply an ADX filter, the signals where there's a lot of volatility will be removed. I really don't use the ADX filter. So if I'm going to use any filter, it would be the squeeze filter. That's the only filter that I would use. But that takes away price where areas are squeezing. And also, if you guys can see my chart, you can see little triangles, right? Little yellow triangles. So these triangles are the zones that tell you where to exit a position you're in. So you see like this buy right here. So for this buy, if you had entered into this buy, and for those of you who like trading without a TP or stop loss or TP, right, you could have just bought here and waited for a yellow triangle to form. So here's the yellow triangle, and you can change this in the colors. So this shows you price is probably reversing right here. So you see all this yellow triangle. Same thing, you see this buy right here, you have this yellow triangle. This buy right here, hey, you have a yellow triangle telling you price is likely reversing. So you also want to keep an eye out on those. But for me, right, so for this one, if you didn't have a TP, sure, you could have caught, a bunch of pips before the yellow triangle formed. But it's gonna be a hit or a miss. So for me, I like using a set TP and set stop loss and just back testing and finding the sweet spot with any of these entries. So where was I? The settings. So you can turn off, right? So if you're only interested in buys, or let's say the golden cross, right? So the way also I've put it, you can see this buy has a lighter color than this other buys, right? So the original buy or sell will have a lighter color than the secondary buys or sells. So the original buy or sell is the original golden cross. So for example, this, and it will have a cross or an X where it was formed. So that will be the original cross area and the so for example, this is original golden cross, original death cross. Now this buy right here just gives you another entry in case you miss the original cross. So for example, right here in the settings, let's say you're only interested in seeing the original crosses, right? So you're not interested in the secondary buys and sells. You can turn those off and you can see you'll only be left with the original crosses here. If you're only interested in seeing the buys and sells, you can turn those on and off as you wish. The plot, this is just the X's, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, these are just the X's. Stop and reversal. So this is the yellow triangle. So if I turn that off, you'll see the yellow triangles have disappeared. Let's see. In here, I really don't change anything in the defaults. So S and R bands, I think it's support and resistance bands. It's something my programmer put in, but I really have not. He sent me videos on how they work, but I really haven't gotten used to or had time to look at it. But you can also back test and see what it does. If you turn on the filter right here, I think it will turn off some of the signals in there, but I don't think I'm going to be using this because this is just like something extra for my strategy. My basic strategy was so basic. It didn't have most of this. Also, if you want to change inputs in here in the style, changing the color of your EMA, changing the lower bands and upper bands and what's showing up. Like for me, I just want the basic stuff on my chart. So that's why I'm not even going to have the squeeze being shown. So I just want to see the basic 9 EMA, 200 EMA, because once you start putting all these other things up here or in here, right, you might be, and you can change if you want the triangles to be another color, if you want the death cross to be another color, if you want the secondary buy or sells to be another color, you can change that in here. Yeah, so yeah, other than the breakout scanner, which has a very high win rate, this crosses indicator is, and that's why I'm so calm. Like I entered 3 cells on, I'm in 3 cells for US30. And here's the other thing, right? I can tell, like, just by looking at this is a squeeze area, right? Like for me, I really don't need the indicator to trade this. But for example, if you turn this on, you'll see price has been squeezing. Also, right, I'm not interested in buys for US30 right now. So what I'll do, instead of having buys confusing me, I'll turn off my golden cross and secondary buy. Now, the reason I think this sell for US30 is highly probable, when was the last time we had a death cross on US30? Look at this whole move up during NFP, right? And this is on the 15-minute again, right? I prefer trading this on the 15-minute time frame, but you can use it on the 5. So for like 3 days or 2 days or so, actually probably 3 days, there hasn't been a death cross on the 15-minute time frame. So when I saw this cross right here, I entered into a sell. And then I'm sticking to my own strategy. Stick to the first 3 to 4 trades, including the original cross. So I have the first sell, I have the second sell, and I have the third sell. And you can see right now we just got another sell on this indicator. So right, I'm in 3 cells for US30. So does anybody have any questions regarding any of what I've gone over for this indicator? Also, access went away yesterday, so I'll be giving access for those of you who have access to the indicators. It will be ending the 5th of every month. So if you guys are, for those of you guys who need to renew, please, go to the on the Discord. I do have that. What is it? I took off the subscription promo. It's just in here, and for right now, it's just gonna be the regular prices. But like with this crosses indicator, it's just the indicators back. Like if I was myself, the thing I would be interested in would be indicators access. For those of you guys who want to see order blocks, maybe charts access, but forget about signals for now. Again, when I started this group, I really wasn't pushing for signals and all, but indicators access, right? I just back tested for you guys this newest indicator. But yeah, go ahead and do whatever package you want and then send me a screenshot, and then I will authorize your access. Also next month, I'll try and get like an automatic renewal so that you guys don't have to be manually doing the renewal every month. So any questions regarding this new indicator, the crosses indicator? Okay, Perfect. Yeah, so I'm in 3 cells for US30 right now. I also sent out a buy on EU. The reason I entered this buy was because we have a 4-hour bullish high. We have a 4-hour bullish low here. Also, this high low was formed. So, and also when I turned on the zones markup, you can see we're in bullish zones. So right here, so we have, and the stop loss for this was below this last bullish zone. I'm sorry, what do I call it? Demand zone. So we have demand zones down here. So this is the reason why I chose to enter that buy on EU, and I did send it in the group. So for this trade, I'm in with a 1% risk. For the US30 trades, I didn't have time to send them into the group, but for this trades, I'm in with a 1% risk as well. Yesterday we won a big US30 trade for 1% risk, so that's good. Yeah, so those are the only trades I'm in right now. I'll also be dropping off early today in like about 20 or so minutes. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. So this EU trade is still valid. Yeah, we have this 4-hour bullish low. We have an hourly bullish low. So if price breaks back above this 4-hour bullish high, I expect a spike in liquidity. And you can see this trend line on the hourly as well that I drawn, right? I drew this trend line way back, and you can see how it's sticking, right? It's still valid. It held here. So we might get, it doesn't have to be a perfect retest of the trend line, but I do expect EU to possibly push up right here. Yeah, so if we get closure above this trend line right here, this should spike price towards TP. And for this trade, I also did scale in just personally because we did come to I forgot where I scaled in at. I think it was the 4-hour bullish low. Yeah. Gold, what do we have on gold? We just came from a 30-minute bullish high, 15-minute bullish high. I really don't see much on gold other than this trend line right here. So gold is possibly a sell, but I'm already in I'm like in 6 positions, so I don't feel like entering any trade. We have a death cross on gold right now on the 5-minute. So for example, right here, if I went on gold on the 5-minute using the crosses indicator, you'd see, right, even yeah, but for me, I just prefer trading the crosses on the 15-minute time frame. But you can see right here we have that death cross on gold. Yeah, if you want to do, all I'm gonna say is just back test. Whatever I give you guys here is mostly just what works for me. Yeah, because you can do it if you do it on the 5-minute, maybe catch the first two buys or 2 sells. So for here, this one would, so this one I would be doing like did I say 50 pips? No, use 100 pips TP and stop loss for gold, 100 pips TP and stop loss for US30. So this one 58 to 68, you'd have, yeah, you'd have survived this one. This one you definitely would have gone straight to TP easily for that one. So sell was this one. Yeah, this is the reason I'm saying use 100 pips for gold, because a 50 pip stop loss for gold, this one you just have gotten faked out because the sell was down here at 72.30. So stop loss for 50 pips would have been 77.30. Actually, you'd have barely survived that one. Yeah, but I just prefer like 100 pips TP and stop loss for gold at the very least, or 100 pips stop loss at the very least. Do you whatever your TP is, if you're doing a 1:1, 1:2 or whatnot. So this one would have hit TP for this one, I'm sure, TP for this one, I'm sure. So once you secure the first 3 or 4 trades, don't go ahead and keep entering sells here, because this right here, you'd have just gotten trapped down here, right? Once you see structure or once you see a reversal coming back, like just don't keep chasing this sells, wait for the next buy. You had a buy right here. If I turned on those buys, right? If you just took those 3 sells right there and you were satisfied, you just wait for a buy. You catch this buy. This was a news candle, I can tell. You catch this buy, as much as it was a news candle, you would have, It wouldn't have gone straight to TP. Wait, that's 59. We are looking for 69. Yeah, so barely to TP. But anyway, yeah, 5 minute time frame for me is just doesn't make sense to trade it. All right. Any questions from anyone? All right. I hope I'm not muted. Am I muted? No. Okay. I don't think
No,
so.
you don't mute.
Okay. Yeah. So if you're gonna focus, like if I were to advise you guys, like if this was me starting up and I had this little I know I posted this yesterday in the group, right? These are just the 5 steps to follow while taking any trade, right? So number one, is the trade valid or not? So if for example, you're trading the crosses, ask yourself, right? So what strategy am I trading? So you're like, okay, today I'm trading the crosses strategy. What's the crosses strategy? You come to the crosses strategy, go to the 15-minute time frame. Okay, wait for your golden cross. So right here, if you're not already in this US 30 cells, well, right now you still have an opportunity to get in, but right, you come in and say, okay, what time frame works best for me? So go ahead and backtest, right? Other people trade US 30, other people trade NAS. So find what works for you and find what time frame works for you, right? So and then understand, take the first 3 or 4 trades, including the original cross, right? So that's right. That's what's going to tell you if a trade is valid or not. So let's say right here, you said, okay, today I'm trading the crosses. And then by the time you're seeing these buys on US 30, you go back and say, what does this strategy say? This strategy says, only take the first 3 or 4 trades, including the original golden cross. So you got this buy right here, but then you say, wait a minute, let me go back and count how many buys have formed previously. So you come in 1, 2, 3, 4. So at this point, if you're taking a buy at the very top here, you understand that, hey, that is not how this strategy works. And if you're going to take it, at the very least, use these yellow triangles so that you at least get taken out at break even or something. But right, if you're entering this buy right here, at that point, just tell yourself, okay, let me wait for the next trades to come. And at this point, the next trades, guess what they're going to be? They're going to be sells. However, on the other hand, you know what else came after this? We had a reversal, right? So you can apply all this here. There you go. You can apply all these strategies interchangeably. So you see where somebody could have taken a buy here and they would have said, okay, when they counted, they were already late to take a buy. Okay, so you move, but then you realize, guess what? We have had a trend on US 30. And for reversal, what is a trend for US 30? We find an area of interest. So our area of interest is right here, somewhere around here. So I'll call this 33,200. Okay. Then what is a trend on US 30? A trend on US 30, and this is just my own, at the very least, right? 500 pip move. So this would be somewhere around 33,700, right? And remember, these reversals come up before or after news normally. So you have a 500 pip move right here. So you come in here, draw this. Okay. So you come in here and say, I'm not interested in any cells that happen in this zone, right? Within this zone. So you come in here and again, you're not interested in buys, you're only interested in sells. Leave that. Okay, so you get this sell right here. So this was a valid sell actually, but this was, I think, before the week closed or something. So at that point, right, you can either choose to enter here or just wait for another entry. So for this one, I normally say use double what we use, like 100 pips TP, 100 pips stop loss. So for this trade, right, you could have came close to getting taken out, but let's assume you got taken out of this trade by slippage, because sometimes, right, here you might get taken out. And I know this was Friday, so Friday again, you also need to know what day of the week it is. You have some manipulation. So on Sunday, when the market opened, they opened up higher to keep trapping the people who are catching these sells as well. So let's just so this trade you wouldn't have gotten stopped out, but let's just assume for argument's purpose that due to slippage you got stopped out. Then you find this sell up here again. At this point, if I were you, I would go even heavier. maybe do 200 lots. No, I'm sorry, not 200 lots. Do 200 pip TP and stop loss, and then use like double the risk you used here. So here if you used 1% and you got stopped out at best here, I would go for 2% risk, because the probability of US 30 coming down at this point, remember, we have an area of interest. We have a 500 pip move. Go ahead and enter that trade. Don't, these are the trades you set and forget, because if you're going for a 2% move or 2% risk, you're going to see maybe you're making, and 2% is what, like 2K on a 200K account. So you're going to see maybe you're up 1,000 and you're like, man, let me close this so that I get back the 1,000 that's here. And guess what? This thing would have gone straight to TP and you just end the day at break even. So let the trades ride towards your take profit. So that's my new thing. Same thing, right? Like this week, I have a 1:1. I'm sticking to that 1:1. At the very least, I'm going to set break even when it reaches the 1:1. So not even when I was talking about 50% of a move. When it reaches that 1:1, at the very least, I'm setting break even and I start to trail. So these are those positions, especially like the 1% risk that I'm sending out to you guys. Let the trade ride, because what happens is, if you exit this trade and you exit and you make, say, 4%, I'm sorry, 0.4%, and then the next time, God forbid, we enter into a trade with 1% risk and we end up losing, guess what? Instead of being break even, now you're down 0.6%. You know what I mean? So just let these trades ride. It's the same psychology of a lot of people hold on to losers more than they hold on to winners, right? So you just have to be optimistic and say, based on our back testing, this strategy has shown that it can reach 1:1. So at the very least, I'm going to set break even at 1:1 or take my profit at 1:1. And then I know some of you guys have like 1:2, 1:3, but at the very least, and that's my next thing, right? So identify, and US 30 is coming back up. Is the trade valid or not? So that's based on the strategy. Number two, identify your risk per trade. So don't risk anything more than 1% in one trade. So at the the ones we take you on the live session, 0.5%, that's what we do. Sometimes we do 0.75, and sometimes nowadays we can do 1%. So identify your risk per trade, and then identify your risk to reward ratio, right? So where is your stop loss relative to your take profit? Have that set and say, okay, if my, and at the very least, your risk to reward should be 1:1. Don't have a negative risk to reward. So what a 1:1 does, if you lose one trade, you only need one more trade, one winning trade to recover your loss. But for example, if you have a negative risk to reward, for example, risking 3% to make 1%, if you lose one trade, you need to win three consecutive trades to recover this one trade. So which is the same thing I'm talking about here, right? The one I just gave an example of. When that trade hits TP or stop, let it hit TP or stop loss, because if you close early, then you're messing up your risk to reward. As much as this trade was set up as a 1:1, if you close early and maybe secure 0.5%, and God forbid we take another trade and then you lose 1%, right? You're down 0.6%. So trading is all about a numbers game. So, and also forget about assigning values to your profits. Like, I want to make 5K a day. No, just stick to a percentage and the money automatically is going to align to that. So identify your risk to reward. Don't have anything less than 1:1. Have a set TP and stop loss for each trade. So don't try to mentally say, I'm going to close if I lose 200. No. Set your TP and stop loss. The strategy will tell you, even for the trades I send out here, the strategy will always tell you the TP and stop loss. So if we're trading normally on the live session, normally I give like 50 pips TP, 50 pips stop loss for US 30 or gold, and 20 pips TP, 20 pips stop loss for FX pairs. But if it's like these other high hitting strategies, the breakout scanner, the reversal, and the crosses one, this one I'm normally going for double, right? So for US 30, I'm going for 100 pips TP, 100 pips stop loss. For this one, I actually went for 200 pips TP and 200 pips stop loss, just to be safe. That's the other part, right? If you're still worried about losing money, if you're not yet there psychologically, and to you the trade makes sense, instead of doing like even 100 pips TP, 100 pips stop loss for US30, go ahead and do 200 pips TP, 200 and pips stop loss with the same risk amount. The only thing that's going to change, you're just going to use a smaller lot size. So that might be a better thing for you, for those of you who are still struggling with, oh, my trades are hitting stop loss too quickly. So you see like this US30 trade, like literally, I have a 200 pip TP based on the amount of positions I have a 200 pip TP and stop loss. So that means for US30 to climb up 200 pips from 33,527 to 33,727, at that point, right, that trade is invalid. So at the very least, if you're still worried about step 1, 2, and 3, have double the TP and stop loss that you have in mind, but always have a set TP and stop loss. And then number 5, if all the above makes sense, go ahead and jump into the position. So don't question the moment you start having doubts is the moment you start closing your positions early, is the moment you start, you see like this EU trade, I don't even know what's happening, but I'm in drawdown for this EU trade, but the trade still makes sense to me, if that makes sense. So yeah, so I'll be leaving this one up here. I'll write a write-up for each and every one of the strategies, and then eventually I'll make videos. I just don't have the time for now. But yeah, any questions from anyone? And also here, I'm not interested in this buy, so. Also, if price is squeezing a lot, sure, you can apply the squeeze filter so that you don't have all this. But we definitely have a death cross here on the 15-minute time frame. Not to say that US30 cannot shift back to the upside at any time. All right, let me know if any of you have any questions, because I have to drop off soon. All right, so this is a breakout scanner, GJ. So for the breakout scanner, the other thing, right? I'm not really focusing on minor pairs. I want pairs that move pretty heavily. So GJ, I know GJ definitely moves heavily, but I'm not looking to enter into any other position right now. But let's see GJ, where GJ is at. So we have that buy. Trying to look for structure. Yeah, I wouldn't take this buy on GJ. Hey guys, I'll wait for a sell. I would wait for a sell on GJ because ideally we're on the top of the structure for GJ. Or we're on the upper third of the structure for GJ. GBP CAD, yeah, some of these pairs also consolidate a lot. So when taking these pairs using the breakout scanner, look for something that once it breaks out, it just goes to that direction. You don't want pairs that are consolidating in and out, because you'll just either be trapped into a position, or right, you make maybe like 50 bucks in profit and then you get an opposing signal on the other side. So yeah, even on the breakout scanner, I really can't see anything that's popping up. Euros, I know EURNZD consolidates a good amount of the time. Yeah, even CHF pairs are just slow as well. Let's see, for US30. So US30, we're in sell zones for US30. This is why I'm still holding on to my sell. You can see, so price came up from this 15-minute bullish low area, but you can see, right, we have nothing but sell zones up here. So let me turn that off for now. We have a weekly low. We have a daily bearish high. Now, the only issue here is this daily bullish high. However, to me, these two cross out. So of course, I do expect some liquidity to the upside right now. I honestly think they're trapping buyers. But to me, if I have these two, I have a daily bearish high, daily bullish high, and they're conflicting. So to me, those two cross out, right? So then I go, what else do I have around me? I have a 15-minute bearish zone, I have a 15-minute bullish zone. So to me, the 15-minute bearish and bullish, they cross out. What then would help me as another confluence, I turn on my zones. So the zones are telling me we have a lot of sellers here. Where price is at, we have a lot of sellers. Now, if we had nothing but demand zones down here, then I wouldn't be looking to continue with this sell. But I like how I'm seeing all these supply zones up here. So sure, they can break through because US 30 can do it whatever it wants. They can easily take out all these sellers that are up here. But to me, the sell has a higher probability than the buy. But anyway, if any of your confluences align for a buy, keep in mind we do have a daily bullish high on US 30. So, and also I do see we are about to close above this 9 EMA, but again, I'm not going to try and look for something that's not there for now. But for me, the sell on US 30 is still valid. I didn't call this out in the group because I really didn't have time. So it's not an official trade. The only official trade that's there is this EU buy. And I know normally sometimes these two instruments move together. So whatever, at this point, whatever happens. The US 30 trade for me is definitely valid. EU, like look at EU. EU, the same thing. We do have some sell zones here, but we do have more of this demand zones. So as opposed to US 30 that's in heavier supply zones, EU is in heavier demand zones. So this supply zones are not that many. And also we do have a 4-hour bullish high, 4-hour bullish low for EU based on where it is. So for me, both the buy on EU and the sell on US 30 are valid trades. Now you see this yellow triangles that showed up here. So this might have been an area to tell me, okay, hey, maybe you want to get out of the cells that you're in right now. So if I turn off, because right now I have the squeeze filter, and then I turn off the buys because I'm not interested in buys, you'll see that these two yellow triangles are coming up because they are based off of these cells, and then they're just telling you, hey, maybe you want to get out of this cell. So hopefully all this makes sense. So I'll be creating or copying, I'll be creating signals for this indicator and sending them to the signals group. I'll also be copying them to the account that I had a while back that I stopped working on because I had to work on this other instruments, and then we'll see what the result is. So I'll be copying, so the way I'll make the signals for the crosses, it will say like US 30 golden cross, US 30 secondary golden cross or something, or no, US 30 golden buy. And then if it's a secondary buy, it's like US 30 secondary buy or something. So it will be distinguishable from the other signals that that those of you who have access to. So you see like the basic US 30 signal is like US 30 sell on the 5-minute. So the golden cross and the death cross signals, they're going to have a distinguishing name as well. So I'll be copying this signals to that test account. And actually, to be honest, I will probably start a challenge just to run this, because based on back testing, right? If I was using 0.5% for these 3 trades, this one day I would have been up 1.5%. Right? This one day I would have been up 1.5%. And that's if just considering that I started the challenge using these signals. But if I started the challenge, let's say on this 3 cell signals and risk 0.5% for each one of them, so be up 1.5%, a few hours later, I'm up another 1.5%. So in like a day, I would be up like 3%. So yeah, this for me is a higher probable instrument to pass challenges. But you just, the issue with this, you want to be careful of where price is squeezing at. So you want to be careful of where the EMAs are going in and out of each other. And that's also why you want to maybe apply the squeeze filter. This will help you. Yeah. But if you don't apply the squeeze filter, make sure to take each and every buy or sell to full TP. Don't close early because if you close early, that might affect your win rate. So yeah, so it's either you choose to do the squeeze filter or not. So hopefully that makes sense for this indicator. All right, any last questions? I have to drop off in like a minute. Okay, well, guessing you guys are good. In any case, just send me a DM. In case you guys have missed anything, in case you guys have any questions, or if you've already made any subscription and I haven't given you, I think I've given access to everybody who subscribed to whatever they did. But since I'm still recovering from vacation, I might have missed one or two instruments. But so the people who did subscribe this morning, I gave you access to the crosses indicator. So you should have access to that. If you go to your indicators and invite only, you should have access to that. So to be honest with you guys, I would say focus on the crosses indicator and focus on the breakout scanner. Spend like half a day just backtesting those two. Find what works for you and what doesn't, write it down, and then that's it. Forget about the reversal, forget about every other, like this one, to be honest with you guys, this is what I'll be focusing on right now. Yeah. All right. I will talk to you guys. I'm not sure we'll have a live session for the rest of the week because I have some other commitments. But if anything changes, I'll let you guys know today. But if not, just plan on back testing this instruments for the rest of the week. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow or whenever. All right. Bye.